Hey everybody, you're watching a physio named Jonah. That's this guy. Another week in the NFL down, another NFL running back down. It's almost like it's really hard to be an NFL running back. This past Sunday, Javonte Williams suffered a devastating season-ending knee injury in the Broncos game against the Las Vegas Raiders. This injury is going to keep him out for the remainder of this year, but as we'll talk about, is going to have implications for next year likely as well. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what Javonte's injury was, what happens now, as well as what we can expect moving forwards from his rehab program. Sounds good? Fantastic. Let's get started. Now, here's the clip from when Javonte hurt his knee. He gets hit sort of awkwardly on both sides, but it doesn't really look like the worst hit in the world on first glance. It's honestly kind of hard to see what happened from the angle that we have. He tried to put weight on his leg to walk to the sideline, and that was a no-go. He went down and did not return to the game. As soon as he goes down like that, we're all pretty worried, and there's one thing that we're unfortunately thinking about. I think this is a good example that what an injury looks like does not have a lot to do sometimes with how serious it is. While the clip may look pretty innocent on first glance, it was pretty clear based on his reaction that this was quite the serious injury. This past Monday, it was reported that Javonte did in fact have the dreaded ACL tear that the team was worried about. He also tore his LCL and injured the postero-lateral corner of his knee. That's a couple structures, so let's break that down a bit, eh? ACL is the anterior cruciate ligament. It's a ligament that's deep into the center of the knee and keeps the shin bone or tibia from translating forwards in relation to the thigh bone or the femur. Basically, it keeps the bottom of the knee joint from moving forwards in relation to the top of the knee joint. The LCL stands for lateral collateral ligament, and it's a ligament that stabilizes the outside of the knee joint. It holds the two bones together from the side and keeps it from opening or splitting to the side. Let's talk about that very, very long word that I mentioned earlier. The posterolateral corner is a particular corner of the knee. Postero comes from the word for posterior, which means to the back, and lateral is lateral, which means to the side. So the posterolateral corner of the knee is the back side corner of the knee. When we talk about the posterolateral corner in reference to a knee injury, what it means is an injury to the structures that are at the back outside corner of the knee. This can include the joint capsule of that part of the knee, as well as muscles and tendons that cross that area, like the hamstrings tendon or the popliteus. The overall upshot of a knee injury like this is,
not great, Bob!
Well, we now have an ACL tear plus damage to other structures in the knee. Surgery is 100% indicated in this case. Javonte is going to likely have surgery very soon so that things can get stabilized and he can start on his rehab for next season. The surgery involves replacing the ACL with a graft from a tendon somewhere else in the body or a replacement graft from a donor. LCL was completely torn, they'll have to repair this ligament as well, in addition to cleaning up anything that's required on that posterolateral corner of the knee. Again, this surgery is absolutely indicated because if Javonte does not have this surgery, his knee is not going to be stable enough without those ligaments to hold up to the demands of being an NFL running back. But now, on to something that I love. The thing that I spend my life working on, I love thinking about, optimal post-injury recovery. Yeah, I'm pretty fun at parties. Here's the deal, okay? ACL surgeries take a while to recover from. It's quite the large surgery that happened to a very important part of the leg. And Javonte's is even a little more complicated because it wasn't just one structure that was injured. Early on after the surgery, Javonte's not going to be able to do a lot with his leg for the first little while. He might be on crutches for the first as long as 6 weeks, in that time able to do just some light amount of movement. This time is absolutely crucial for the tissues to heal up after surgery. Before the end of this season though, Javonte will already be accelerating what he's doing from a recovery perspective. Once he's able to put a little more weight through his leg, they can increase the complexity of the exercises that he's doing, add more strengthening, and finally add explosive changes in direction, jumping, the things that are required for an NFL running back to be able to do. Back up to game speed and the level of athlete that Javonte is capable of being is going to take some time. I just made a video recently about J.K. Dobbins' knee injury, and he had a very similar injury to what Javonte just went through. Dobbins tore his ACL, LCL, injured his hamstring, and part of the postero-lateral corner of the knee at the start of the 2021 NFL season. It was actually in the preseason. He's just getting back to playing full snaps now in week 4 of the 2022 NFL season. 9 months is the timeline for ACL recovery that always gets brought up, but it can absolutely be longer. On top of the fact that every human being is different and every knee injury is different, recovery times vary immensely. Sometimes people can have a really smooth recovery process and go quicker than you expect, while other times, for no fault of the athlete or training staff, things just progress slower. Another good recent example of this is Saquon Barkley. Saquon tore his ACL in the 2020 NFL season and did make it back for the 2021 NFL season, but wasn't the same level of explosive player that he was in his seasons before that. Now, he also had an ankle injury that added on to that, so was that from the ankle injury or was it the ACL recovery? It's hard to say, but getting back to that full athletic potential sometimes might not even be the next season afterwards. Saquon is looking great now in the 2022 NFL season, and I drafted him in fantasy, but he's only just now in the 2022 NFL season back to the same player that we saw before his 2020 ACL tear. Since Javonte Williams' surgery is going to be happening basically now in early October of 2022, that 9-month timeline should have him ready well before week 1 of the 2023 NFL season. But that's the 9-month timeline. How much of training camp he'll miss this upcoming summer though, honestly is pretty up in the air to me. Being able to get ready for week 1 of next year, sure, if that's our date, but it's a lot of prep in the offseason of the NFL that's going to be happening this summer. What he'll be able to do is going to depend a lot on how the recovery process goes. Thinking now in October 2022, I think the best case scenario for Javonte is that he's back and at training camp, probably later on in the training camp cycle, that he's able to get reintegrated and start early in the season with minimal limitations. I think the worst case likely scenario is that he misses training camp entirely and isn't really eased back into the offense until a good ways into next season. My best guess on what I think is most realistic is that Javonte is going to be back to full participation sometime in the middle chunk of next season, likely after this week 4 timeline. He may come back earlier, but I don't think he'll be able to go back into full reps at that time. What he's able to do on the field, is he the same explosive player who was absolutely lighting up in his rookie season? Who knows? It may take time to get back there. Hopefully less, and I really wish him the best in all of his recovery, but you never know with injuries like this. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the support and hope you now have a little more info on this Javonte Williams injury. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel down below so that you get notifications on when I release more videos. Hitting that thumbs up button also tells YouTube that you enjoyed this video, which helps my channel reach more interested viewers like yourself. And again, I very much appreciate the support. Drop me comments or questions in the comments section down below. Go ahead and ask about other NFL injuries. If there's anything you guys want a video on in the future, please let me know there. I look forward to talking with you soon. Most importantly though, guys, as always, move your body, have a laugh today, and I will see you at the next video.